Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Last time we discussed Prabhu Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 12 to end of the chapter. Last time, I just wanted to mention.
Yeah. I remember Ashwatham episode.
Oh,
That's
oh
very good.
yes, yes,
That's
yes.
I'm some options which are coming to my mind are there is one presentation about the counseling system. So I was asked to present to like all India leaders of in generation, and they all had very much appreciated it. Many senior devotees also, Radheshantu and Antadipu had very much appreciated. So that is one. If you want to know about counseling system, I can present that. That's one option I'm thinking which is relevant. You know, another thing which is relevant is like 8 qualities of trustworthy leader. Like this kind of things are there. So, or I can take just a section. Kautukarnapu, you want to say something out of three?
Prabhu, anything you speak is nectar. Whatever you choose, I think all are relevant.
Okay. So let me take counseling system. I think it will make good. But I feel maybe counseling system with other devotees. Okay, let's read Bhagavatam only because other later on I'll take some day some for other devotees as well. So take that time. So let's offer prayers. And what we will do today, we will read from first canto only. But specifically, yeah. So we will read from Bhishma section. Okay. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto first, and this is chapter number 9. So I have a small PPT which has like kind of overview. So I'm just sharing that, because some lessons and principles will try to focus upon, not read all the verses. So I hope it is visible now.
So your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking.
Yes, bro. And we are not able to see the screen as well. Maybe it's frozen.
नेटवर्क आ रहे हैं यहाँ पर वाईफाई आ रहे हैं? नहीं नहीं, मैं अपने फोन से चला रहा था, लेकिन ये हमारे क्लास
तो वाईफाई पासवर्ड पता है?
पासवर्ड पता है, जस्ट नेटवर्क शुड कम ना. ओके, वन नेटवर्क इज कमिंग इन. Prabhu, is it audible here? Visible and audible?
Yes, bro. Now it is audible.
Okay, is it visible also?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, great. So, thank you. Thank you. So, can you switch on the fan a little bit? Just on one. Hare Krishna. So, okay, finally, at least we are there. So this is a very special chapter, bro. This is one chapter which has a lot of references in other scriptures also, like especially Mahabharata. So in fact, on just two of the verses of Bhagavatam in this chapter, there are 1500 pages of Mahabharata. Yeah, literally. Like 1500 pages of Mahabharata, what they are describing, Bhagavatam summarizes in two verses. But the kind of mention which this pastime finds in other scriptures is actually mind blowing. So this is also one of the chapters which has been very much commented upon by various acharyas. Lots and lots of commentaries in all the sampradayas, and there are very crucial, vital lessons of bhakti from this chapter. And the focus of this chapter, the hero of this chapter is Bhishma Dev, who is Mahajana, who is a great Kshatriya fighter, and who is also a great devotee. So let's see. So there's a summary of that chapter. Like I said, we'll not go into all the details.
So we cannot hear you again.
And Pandavas setting. So
Hare Krishna.
Yudish, I'm not.
Prabhu, your voice is breaking again. So I have a suggestion, Prabhu. Okay. We can request Prabhu to share the slides with us and then turn off the video. Vishal Prabhu, you can maybe post the slides, right?
Oh, one last time I'll try. Just a second.
So Prabhu, I have a suggestion. If you could share the slides with Vishal Prabhu or on WhatsApp,
So very
he
heavy
can.
PPT. Even for me to share it will take some time. So you try
Is
this.
there?
Just try this. Is it working
Is
right
it?
now?
Yeah, right now it is
Right?
working. Yes.
Is it working right now?
Yeah.
All right. Just try this one. If it doesn't work, we'll find something else. Share again. Yeah. I hope it's visible. So I was sharing to how this chapter is a very special chapter because it highlights on very essential principles of bhakti. And another thing is that this chapter finds a lot of mention in other scriptures, especially Mahabharata. And it begins with Pandavas visiting Bhishma Dev on his deathbed. So Bhishma Dev was on his deathbed, and Pandavas are visiting him totally well decorated. You see here in a royal appearance, offering obeisances. Now, why would they why would they go and meet Bhishma Dev at his deathbed in such a royal way? Like when you go to meet a person who is in hospital, or you go to meet a person who is like in his final moments, final days also, or who has had a very big loss. So he's in like he's kind of in some stress, or he's in like very tough time of his life. So you don't try to show off like you go in a very big car, or you go like all well decorated, and you tell him how we have recently become kings or something like that. You don't do that, right? But here Pandavas are doing it. Very interesting. So there is a reason explained that Krishna wanted to fulfill the desire of Bhishma Dev. So one desire of Bhishma Dev throughout his life was that whenever he saw the Pandavas, so they were always ill-treated. They were always in trouble. Like they always kept losing something. So they were very well-deserving people. They didn't even have bad karma. They never did wrong things. But somehow or other, because of Lord's arrangement, because of others' envy, they were always put into difficulty. They never got what they deserved. So at least for once, like Bhishma, they really wanted to see them like happy, well decorated as kings. That's how they deserved actually. And he just wanted to see them like, you know, like let the world recognize their glories. So Krishna wanted to fulfill this desire of Bhishma Dev. One thing is Krishna also wants to see Pandavas glorified. Second thing, Krishna very much heartily wanted to fulfill the desire of his devotee Bhishma Dev, who was so dear to him. So Krishna arranged this. Okay. So one more thing which is explained in this chapter is that how um, there will be some questions which will be answered, which will be asked by Yudhishthir Maharaj and Pandavas to Bhishma Dev. Two types of questions, and how Krishna answers them. So let's see. Further, in verse number 5 to 8, so Lord's appearance to Narada, which means great souls from all over the world, like they come. So you find like rishis, brahmanas, sannyasis, great spiritual masters. You find Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Brihadashva, this Bharadwaj, Kashyapa, Angirasa, Parashuram. So Parashuram was Lord's incarnation. And all these other rishis, they were very great rishis. In fact, Prabhupada has written like pages after pages in their introduction, in the purport. So this is very astonishing, Prabhu. Just think about it. In that ground of Kurukshetra, just before this episode of Bhishma Dev, like in fact Bhishma Dev is lying there in the battlefield, which means just now 18 days battle was going on, in which Pandavas and Kauravas and Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Karna, these kind of people were there. Plus Krishna was there for 18 days. But these people never came. Isn't it? Like these rishis and brahmanas, they never came. Now they are coming to hear from whom? They are coming to hear from a Kshatriya, like Bhishma Dev. Generally, Brahmanas don't hear from Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas hear from Brahmanas. You know? Another thing is, Bhishma Dev didn't even belong to any ashram. Generally, it is said that one should always belong to some ashram. Today, there are so many problems, because according to Shastras, people are not in any ashram properly. Like you see, when a person is student, so he should be strictly under the teacher properly, and he should follow a disciplined life. And as soon as he graduates, he should get married. So today, actually, people, they're not under anyone, and then for years and years they don't get married also. So they don't have a set of responsibilities. They don't belong in brahmacharya ashram. They don't belong in grihastha ashram either. And then once they, even if they get married after they retire, they don't follow retirement ashram also, and they definitely don't take sannyas. So actually, people hardly follow any duties and rules of any ashram. And because of that, now their minds are always disturbed. Actually, when one belongs to an ashram, so he's very qualified also. That time he gets a lot of realizations also. But Bhishma Dev didn't even belong to any ashram properly. He was like really a difficult one-off case. So he was a Kshatriya. He was not a Brahmana. He was not in an ashram properly. Third disqualification is he's lying in the battlefield after having fought from the side of Adharma. Okay. So despite all these disqualifications, who all are coming to hear from him? All these great souls. Even Shukdev Goswami was there. It's not mentioned here, but even Shukdev Goswami was there. So I mean, this is really like a lot to digest. Okay. So there are reasons mentioned why he was so glorious. One thing is Krishna wanted to show to the world that irrespective of ashram, irrespective of varna, irrespective of age, irrespective of situation, in any condition of life, a Vaishnava, a sincere Vaishnava, always has better wisdom than anyone else. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, is it audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, okay. Yeah, just wanted to confirm. So, Krishna wanted to show to the world that in any condition of life, a Vaishnava always has better wisdom than anyone else. Second thing Prabhupada explains that Krishna wanted to show to the world that even in very tough situation of life, like Bhishmadev's entire body was, you know, like pierced by so many arrows, so many weapons, and he was tired, like his body was tired, and he had lost the battle. He was in a lot of pain. He was about to like depart. So even in that condition of life, his mind was very sound. His conceptions in life, his principles in life are very clear, very pure, even in that condition of life. And third thing, Krishna wanted to glorify Bhishma Dev. That just see the teachings of my dear devotee. So when Pandavas start asking questions and how Bhishma Dev responds, you know, fabulous actually. One of the best conversations of entire Vedic scriptures. This is celebrated not just by devotees but by many people actually. This conversation. So it has lessons for society. It has lessons for leaders, individuals. It has lessons for farmers, businessmen. It has lessons for like anyone practically in society. Of course, in Bhagavatam, only the devotional lessons are highlighted, but a little glimpse in two verses are given about the other lessons. So, so these reasons Prabhupada explains. Okay. So now going ahead in verses number 9 and 10. So Bhishmadev welcomes a lot and other visitors. So this is another beautiful thing explained by Acharyas here. They explained that Bhishmadev welcomed them according to time and place. See, just have a look. Like, just have a look at this picture of Bhishmadev lying. Okay, so many arrows are piercing his body. So obviously, like we don't expect him to welcome anyone, right? Like, but actually he welcomes. So the how the guests are received now, that is explained. So he welcomes everyone very beautifully. How he would welcome? He cannot even get up. So he welcomes with sweet words, and he welcomes with his eyebrows. Like you sometimes you're not in a position of moving also, no? So what do you do? So he just like with slowly he closes the eyes as if like paying obeisances, and then directs them with his eyes like please have a seat here, like that. So very fine etiquettes and very fine sense of sensitivity, humility, and offering respect to a guest. That is explained actually. Then we go further. So here in verses number 11 to 17, he does something magical. You know what he does? He starts glorifying Pandavas. He starts empathizing with Pandavas. Oh, my dear Pandavas, so much you have suffered throughout your life, so many sufferings which you never deserved. You went through this, you went through that, you went through this. Now, generally, Prabhu, like, I mean, Pandavas and Krishna are supposed to empathize with him. just like, just contrast the condition, they are all in royal armor, and like they're appearing so beautiful. Now they are kings, and they're in very comfortable position. And here, in fact, they are having reasons to celebrate, like after a long time in their life. And if at all somebody was in problem, that was Bhishma there. But look at the irony. Bhishma Dev is feeling like, you know, my dear Pandavas, so much happened with you. So look at a Vaishnava's heart, na? He's always thinking of others. He's like, he doesn't have the false ego of putting himself in the center. So Pandavas sat nearby, silently overtaken by affection. And Bhishma Dev sympathized with the sufferings and assures complete protection. He is assuring them complete protection. This is another thing. This is a very famous verse, okay? This 12th verse. Aho kashtam, aho anyayam, yadhyuyam dharmanandana, jivitum narhatha klishtam, vipradharma achyutashraya. So here he says the principle of taking shelter of Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta, which means taking shelter of devotees, Vipra, taking shelter of Dharma, the principles of devotional service, and taking shelter of Achyuta, Lord Krishna, Lord Gopal. Ashraya means shelter. So when we take shelter of these three, devotees, devotional service, and the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. So in any condition of life, we will always be protected. No sufferings will be able to make us suffer, although pain will be inevitable. Pain may be there, but suffering won't be there. So this is a beautiful verse which he speaks, like Bhishma Dev is speaking. So the scene is quite opposite. Like they had come to, just like devotees when they would go to Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj in Gita Nagari, like during his last few weeks. So actually, instead of they being able to give some solace or some good words to Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he would actually pacify their hearts, and he would actually inspire them, and they would go out crying in joy. So that magic. There was one more devotee, Kunti Mataji, actually, Kunti Devi Dasi, that was Prabhupada disciple there only in America somewhere. So actually, when she also, like, she had got some disease, some kind of, she was bedridden for several months, and like even news reporters in those days, like it was quite long back, even some news reporters, some radio people went to her, and they said like they found so much joy and enthusiasm and so much hope for life by meeting her. Simple lady. But so much filled with Krishna consciousness, so much filled with concern for others. So another thing which Bhishma Dev explains is, the power of time and how the time operates. This is one of the very philosophically um, elevated subject matter. So he says, Sarvam kala kritam manye bhavatam cha yada priyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayoriva ghanavali. He says that the power of time, the work of time is inevitable, and time controls everyone and everything and every situation in this world. So he says that in this entire planet, along with the situation, along with the things, even those who seem to be in control, sapalo means those who are kings themselves, they are also under the control of time. So So he's basically telling that whatever happened with you was the desire of the inevitable time, was the will of the providence. So nobody can do anything in that. Like, that's what he says. So see ahead further. And then he says one beautiful advice. He says that instead of like instead of trying to break your head with time, instead of trying to change what the Supreme Lord is arranging, and instead of trying to analyze it, why is he doing this in my life? Why is he doing that in my life? Instead of doing this, Bhishma Dev recommends best is just heartily accept the plan of the Lord. So sometimes in our life, we see that like despite all our efforts, despite the best of our efforts, some things may happen which we never like kind of desired, or which may apparently not be favorable for us, or it may not fit into our plans. But that is the time, are we able to smile and accept, okay, my dear Lord, now it seems to be your desire because I try to do my best. So to accept the plan of the Lord and to obey it, to heartily accept it, like without any grudges, that actually frees us from any um, unwanted suffering from inside, any kind of pent up feelings kept in the heart, any kind of remorse. Okay, why my life is going like that? So when we are sincere in our endeavors, after that, what Krishna gives, when we accept it wholeheartedly, Krishna actually falls in love with us. That what a devotee actually. Hmm. Yeah. And because not even like Shiva, Brahma, Yamraj, not even great souls, rishis, munis, demigods, they also cannot understand Lord's plan. So who are we? Even great philosophers are bewildered. So we are like nothing. We are like tiny, puny peanuts. Hmm. Nobody. Yeah. Then further, Bhishma Dev reveals to the Pandavas, do you know that this Krishna whom you feel is your cousin, is your friend, is your whoever. He says this Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the original Narayan. He is the original supreme Lord, and they are so happy. Now, see, I was thinking if I was there in Pandava's place, probably I would have felt, what? This guy Krishna, and all this while he has been there with us, and if he has been the supreme controller, then this rascal, he he knew what all is happening and he could have controlled it all. Like, but he didn't do it. Catch him now. Like, to hell with him. We'll never talk to him. What kind of anger would have arisen? But actually, they loved him. They loved him so much that they trusted him fully. Not even for an iota of time that they thought that that why Krishna did this, or didn't he have heart for us? In fact, they started feeling so happy. Yeah, 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 we always knew he's very special, but he's the most special we never knew. And they immediately just like they had so much love for Krishna. So actually, this love really means trust. There's love for the Lord means trust in the Lord. Like we say, look behind and thank Krishna. So if we look behind in our life, we'll be able to thank Krishna. Because there have been so many incidents in our life which at that time we could not translate how they are blessings of the Lord. But if you look at our life today, then because of those incidents, actually, further some better things happened or we became a better person. So we didn't know that time. So we can look behind, we can look back in our life, and we can thank Krishna. And it is also said if we look ahead and trust Krishna. So understanding Krishna's nature and seeing his track record, understanding his heart, so we can definitely like look ahead in our life and trust Krishna. Like Arjuna trusted Krishna. Krishna, you drive my chariot. It's like you take the reins of the ropes of my life in your hand. So Kurukshetra actually represents like life or the world, and chariot represents like our own activities or whatever, like our journey in life. And the other people, they represent all the challenges and all the opportunities will come across in life. So are we willing to let our life be guided by Krishna and his representatives and his words? Arjuna fully trusted him. Okay, you take the ropes of my chariot in your hand. You know, so so Bhishma Dev glorifies Krishna. You know, so this famous verse comes actually that Adyo Narayana Pama, Krishna is the supreme Lord. He's original Narayana, and you know Bhishma Dev very heartily glorifies. Then further in verses 21 to 24, he talks about the Lord's nature. So he says that Lord always just see this Krishna, that Krishna picked up the chariot wheel. You know that famous picture like Krishna's Chakrapani Krishna is picking up that wheel of the chariot in the middle of the battlefield and is rushing onto Bhishma Dev. You know, as if like, you know, Bhishma, I'll kill you. Bhishma, Bhishma immediately puts down his weapons. Yeah, please come. What can be a better benediction than that? You know, Arey, please. You know, this is like giving the highest honor possible in ever in the creation. Krishna personally will kill me. Oh my goodness, please come. And Arjuna is catching Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna, you had made a promise, Baba. You had vowed that you will never pick up weapon. What are you doing? What will the world talk about you? Krishna must be saying, anyways, the world knows my character is not that straight, you know. I am quite famous for breaking my vows. But actually, Krishna wanted to glorify Bhishma. Krishna wanted to glorify Arjuna. How? Because uh, actually, Bhishma's desire was to see Krishna like. So he eternally loves Krishna as Vijaya Sakha or as Partha Sarthi. Prabhupada uses these two words. So Vijaya Sakha means the friend of the winner. So like Arjuna is going to be the winner, obviously, because he's standing on the side of Dharma. So his friend. And also Partha Sarthi matlab, like Arjuna is Partha, the son of Kunti, son of Pritha. And Arjuna's chariot driver, Sarathi, is Krishna. So Partha Sarthi Krishna. So Krishna had that beautiful, it's a very unique darshan of Krishna, wherein Krishna's body is like decorated with all those ornaments and armor and all. Then Krishna has a mukut. Then he has like sweat all over his body because of like all that battlefield and all these activities. So there are beads of sweat, perspiration. Then there is blood coming out from some of his wounds, some open wounds, because in the battlefield. So some arrows of Bhishma they also had gone and like they were there. They had scratched the body of the Lord. So Vishnu Thakur explained that just like a lover, like when a boy and a girl, a man and his wife, they are intimate physically. So sometimes in like intense state of love, they sometimes bite each other in such a way that he says that sometimes some skin gets scratched and the blood also comes out. So apparently that is painful, but the lovers derive some of the greatest joys in their life, like with that. So so he says that spiritually, like Krishna felt like that. So Bhishma Dev's arrows, they were like what like we offer arati in the sorry, we offer flowers in the arati, na, in the temple, like the pujari offers. So how Krishna feels that like with the flowers because a loving offering. So Vishnu Thakur says that so Krishna felt like that when Vishnu was sending arrows. So actually, one amazing thing is Krishna was willing to break. Krishna was willing to break his vow of picking up the weapon to save Arjuna. Okay. Second, to fulfill the desire of Bhishma Dev. What was the desire of Bhishma Dev? That he wanted to see Krishna like that. And Bhishma Dev had also announced that Krishna will pick up weapon. He had taken a vow that either Arjuna will die tomorrow or Krishna will pick up the weapon. So Krishna wanted to save Arjuna and Krishna wanted to save the vow of Bhishma. And that's why he himself broke his own vow. So this is another beautiful thing. Acharyas are glorifying the Lord, left, right, center. What are they glorifying? That just see the character of the Lord. He says, my devotee Arjuna's life and my devotee Bhishma Dev's promise, that should not go in vain. Better my vow, my character forever comes under question mark. No problem. I'll break my vow. So Krishna prefers to be known as the lover of his devotees rather than to be known as a worldly moralist. That yeah, sir did not break his vow. To hell with your principle of not breaking the vow. When it comes to love for my devotees, you know, that is Krishna. So it speaks so much of the power of bhakti. In any other path of yoga, like karma yoga or buddhi yoga or jnana yoga or dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, in none of the yoga systems, in none of the forms of spiritual life or anything, you know, like the Supreme Lord becomes like that. He really becomes controlled by the bhakti of the devotee. He really becomes a servant of his devotees. He becomes controlled as if like the devotees have his remote control in their hands. Hmm? Sadho hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham mad anyat tena jananti. You know, Vishnu is telling to Durvasa Muni that other than my devotees, I do not know anyone. Because other than me, they also do not know anyone. I am a prisoner in their hearts, a very happy prisoner, because they have made themselves the prisoners in my heart. So if you love them, you get my love. If you offend them, you get I offend you. If you love me, they love you. Like it's a very in Hindi they say it's a mili bhagat. Mili bhagat means it's a it's like I don't know what the word is in English. I don't think so. There is an equivalent, but it's like mutually it's a mutual conspiracy that they have made. So they're into it together. That's the closest I think I can explain. But it's a very beautiful feature of bhakti. So then we go ahead. So then Yudhishthir Maharaj actually begins like asking questions. So first, like he's asking questions about how the society should be, and as a king, what should be my prime duties, and how the society should be, like how people should be classified in society, and what are the duties of women. Okay, and so like he asks about all the varnas, all the ashramas. He asks about apada dharma. He asks about kula dharma. He asks about raja dharma. Huh? So these are again very very beautiful things to explain actually. And if you read the purport, 25 to 28, especially there is one long purport Prabhupada writes about all this Raja Dharma, Dana Dharma, and all. Really true, like those principles now, they can open the eyes of the world today. So these questions and these answers and purports are about how to have a like materially how to have a very good society, very satisfied society, very stable society, very flourishing and prosperous society. Okay, physically, financially, socially, huh? And academically, okay, like that. Very beautiful actually. Those principles, they are such eye openers now. I still remember like in 18, 19 years back when I first got to read or hear these teachings, I was like, I was into tears actually. That if Prabhupada, I mean, if only this world could take these teachings, even at least materially they can be far off, far better off. Anyways, so these are the verses, Prabhu, which in Mahabharat practically they they comprise of a very big section of Mahabharat, like 1500 pages. 1500 pages of a scripture, of a Sanskrit scripture, is like very big. Okay, so then you come to like 29 to 31, where finally he says that my time has arrived now. Actually, he was a pure devotee, so he could have just he was gone na, towards Golok only. But he was feeling that no, he is not a like he's not a pure devotee, so he'll not go. So what he was doing na, he was telling, see, now according to yogis, the sun has come to the north, like noon time, and he says now anyway it is Uttarayan. Now let me leave now because for pure devotees, Krishna helps, but for people like me, I don't know. Not that he didn't have faith in Krishna, but he felt very humble that he was like siding adharma and all. He's not a good devotee. and and one very special thing happens actually. So he wanted to take darshan of Krishna while leaving, exactly in that Vijay Sakha, that Parthasarathi form. So Krishna gave him that, and Krishna actually sent him also to that planet in Vaikuntha, where Lord Vishnu eternally resides in that. Amazing, na? So that Vaikuntha, Parthasarathi Vaikuntha, there is a planet in the spiritual world called Parthasarathi Vaikuntha. So that's where he goes eternally. This is also explained in the Bhagavad. Yeah. So I'll just take like 4 or 5 minutes more. So then he offers prayers. Okay, very beautiful prayers he offers. Just one prime thing I have to tell you, and then so these prayers I am not covering actually because this will take a lot of time, but they are very beautiful prayers, and yeah. So then they like this is the last section of the chapter where so Bhishma Dev goes and then funeral is performed and all, and everyone returns. Okay. Now in this chapter comes a very special point in which I didn't share like the one of the primary focus of this chapter. So practically not the primary, it is the central focus. What happened is like in the beginning verses, there was one more thing that Yudhishthira Maharaj was crying in repentance. That just to make me a king, so much of massacre was done, so much of bloodshed happened. Like practically 640 million, yeah, 640 million people died in that battle. So if you know about it, like Second World War was the biggest death toll in the history of the modern history of mankind. So like in the last 2-3 thousand years. So I think like 6 to 7 million people died that time. 6 to 7 million in Second World War. That is reported officially. Maximum it may be like 10 or 15 million, not more than that. Definitely not more than that. Just compare like Kurukshetra war, 640 million people, and that too warriors. So Yudhishthira was feeling like very bad. Just to make me the king, Duryodhana also was like responsibly doing the duties of the king, right? Why? So actually, Yudhishthira Maharaj, out of his humility, he felt that like he is responsible for all that. And why was it to be done? So much of resources also got wasted. So he was feeling very, very repentant. He was crying. He was not able to do his duties also now as a king. So Krishna was feeling, you brothers, you Pandavas, what is it with you guys? That fellow, before the war, he was crying that Arjuna, I'll not fight. And after the war, you are crying. Why did we fight? Why did we fight? So Krishna was like, Arey, the whole time I have to just sit down and explain only all the things to you. You're like kids. So Krishna was so frustrated, he immediately sat down with Yudhishthira Maharaj. Hey, what's your problem? Tell me all the questions. And then Krishna is answering personally, just imagine. So Krishna is present as Chaitya also, Paramatma. And Krishna only is the object of all the study of the Vedic literature. He only is a knower of all the Vedic literature. From him only all the knowledge has come also. And he is explaining everything to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj doesn't understand anything. Nothing clicks. And Yudhishthira Maharaj maintains, no. He's like very repentant. And Krishna feels frustrated. What is this? Okay, let me take you to Vyasdev. He's the ocean of all knowledge. He has written all the Vedic scriptures. He takes him to Vyasdev. Vyasdev says, I am myself, not satisfied after writing all the literature. Anyway, he explains everything also to him, all the answers, all the quotations he gives. See, Vyasdev can give all the authoritative things, right? I mean, who's Vyasdev is the highest authority of knowledge ever, right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, your voice is breaking, Prabhu.
You know, Hare Krishna.
Vishal Prabhu, could you call Prabhu? Yeah.
So am I audible now, Vishal bro?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, just last couple of minutes, but a very important one. So I was sharing that how Yudhishthira was not convinced by Krishna's explanations, by Vyasadev's explanations. Now this is beyond logic. Krishna is a supreme Lord. He's a Paramatma also, and Vyasadev is, the greatest authority of knowledge ever. Yet he was not satisfied. So then Bhishmadev explains the answers to the same questions. The same question is asked to Bhishmadev. Krishna asks Yudhishthira, you ask Bhishmadev, and Bhishmadev answers that how Yudhishthira Maharaj, you are not the cause. How it is the desire of Krishna, how it is a time factor, and how because they did adharma, because they did wrong with Draupadi publicly, their life was shortened anyways, and it is good for them to have died. So he gives all the explanation, and Yudhishthira was totally pacified. So Krishna, just look at Krishna's character. He is ready to explain in front of the entire world. Me, as well as my literary incarnation, my avatar Vyasdev, we could not do it, and see Bhishmadev could do it. You're talking about as if he's a fallen person, like Draupadi was laughing at him. Hey, what this fellow will give knowledge of dharma? He was there in that sabha, that court where I was disrobed, and he didn't help also. Does he even understand what dharma is? So that time Bhishmadev says that, yeah, I regret Draupadi. I will die with this regret that I did not help you. But one thing, Draupadi, I can tell, I was contaminated because I was taking favors from a offender of Krishna. I was taking favors from Duryodhan. I was taking food and salary from them. And I was taking their association. So I was contaminated. That's why, yes, I could not do the right thing. Because I was in wrong association, I was influenced by them, and I was taking their food. But let me also tell you that now I can speak. Why I'm telling you I can speak today? Because your husband Arjuna, who's so dear to Krishna, by his arrows, all my blood, all my dirty blood, the dirty part of me has been drained out. So now I've become purified. Now I can speak about dharma. So to glorify Bhishma Dev, Krishna staged this. And to fulfill his desire of seeing Pandavas decorated and now happy, Krishna brought them decorated as kings now of the planet. And Krishna wanted to show to the world that look at my devotee. It doesn't matter whether he's a grihastha or a brahmachari, whether he's young or old, whether he's Indian or American, whether it is where he's very educated, talented, or he's not, whether he's a simple devotee or whether he's a leader or a post holder, does not matter. If he loves me, if he is very sincere with the right intent in devotional service, then he has that wisdom, even in the toughest situation of life, which the other yogis or people of other paths they don't. So this is Krishna's treatment of Arjuna, Bhishma, Pandavas, and this is his glorification of devotional service. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I hope you liked the section and the lessons therein.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So many beautiful points, Prabhu.
Thank you. So, Jai, Vishal, Gurudev, Prasanna, all happy. Of course, all of you are such good devotees. I am remembering Adinath Krishna Prabhu, such sincere devotee actually. I just uh, so much miss him. Sometimes I see in the photos, I, I just remember all the devotees. I showed the photos to some devotees here in India. So happy to hear about the devotees there. So thank you, Prabhu. And I guess we'll end here. It's already like 1 hour, right, Kautakarna?
Yes, Prabhu. We can share any reflections if we have online on the WhatsApp and share with you, Prabhu, later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jai. Rudrashram
His
Bhagavatam
grace,
ki jai. Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada.
Jai, His Grace Achyuta Mohan Prabhu ki Jai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you, Vishal Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.